Good evening and welcome to the Irish Art Show broadcast from the Scientology Community Centre, Dublin. Tonight it is my pleasure to welcome John Lynch. John is an Irish singer-songwriter born and bred in Dublin. Since an early age, he has always had an interest in music and has developed taste for folk and storytelling. John creates new musical landscapes to old folk songs and to his own original tracks. Tonight he is joined by Larry Hogan on guitar and vocals. Please welcome them both.
It's 8 a.m. I'm crossing London Bridge, and it's into a world my mind's imprisoned in. Is this life real? Is this what I become? It's taking me out from what I should have done. I miss my love, I miss her desperately. Well, I'm thinking of her, and if she still loves me. I've walked these London streets before in the rain and cold, and I've faced my fears. I drank your beer, left in tears, and you, animal, you stripped my soul, left me bare, and I'll promise I'll be back again. This I swear. Where all the businessmen meet. Well, it's cruise been cold, and his dreams sold. Well, I can't comprehend how you smiled and pretend, and then say to my face things you want me to hear. There are things I can take, even things I can fake, and once it's crossed, all my trust is lost. And I've walked these London streets before in rain and cold, and I've faced my fears. I drank your beer, left in tears, and you, animal, you stripped my soul, left me bare, and I'll promise I'll be back again. This is sweet. It's 8 a.m. I'm crossing London Bridge. Gura Mahago, thank you very much. My name is John Lynch, and this is Larry Hogan beside me. And delighted to be here at the Irish Art Show in the Scientology Community Centre. And that song was called London Bridge. And that was on my first album called City Stars. And London Bridge describes how I spent many years working away as an electrician. And walking across London Bridge, it can be quite lonely sometimes, especially when you're an Irish fella, on your own, walking across London Bridge, and everybody's looking at their phones, listening to their earpods, not paying attention. So I spent maybe 10 years over in London, and that song popped out then. But the next song I'm going to do for you now is it's actually a cover version. I know you first heard it. I first heard it over in Cornwall, southwest of England. And I thought it was a folk song. And little did I know it was a Billy Joel cover version. It's called The Down Easter Alexa. And it tells the story of the fishermen on the east coast of America. A bit like our own fishermen in Ireland. They kind of done themselves out of a job. But it's a great tale. Hope you like it. Well, I'm on the Down Easter Alexa, and I'm moving through Block Island soon. And I have charted a course to the vineyard, and tonight I'm Nantucket bound. And we took on diesel back in Montauk yesterday, and we left this morning by the Bell and Gardens Bay. And like the locals here, I've had to sell my home. I'm not too proud to leave, I work my fingers to the bone, so I can own my Down Easter Alexa, and I'll go where the ocean is deep. There are giants out there in the canyon, and the good captain can't fall asleep. He falls asleep. And I got bills to pay, children that need clothes, and I know there's fish out there, but where God only knows. And they say these waters are not what they used to be, and I got people back on land that count on me. And when you see my Down Easter Alexa, and if you work with the rod and the reel, tell me why I am trolling Atlantis, and I still have my hands on the wheel. Here on the wheel. I was a bayman like me father was before, and you can't make a living as a bayman anymore. And there's not much future for the man who works the sea, and there's not much island left for islanders like me. And now I'll drive my Down Easter Alexa, and it's more and more miles from shore every year. Sit fishing here. There's no luck in sword fishing here. Sword fishing here. Thank you very much. So that was the Down East Alexa, and as I said before, it's a Billy Joel cover version, but I never heard the original, so I make the song my own. And I tend to do that. I find it very hard to even connect with a song or perform a song that I don't connect with on an emotional level. So, in the same place, down in Cornwall, we met some great folks over there. It was last year, I think we were there, Larry, wasn't it? And,
5 years ago.
5 years ago. We went on a little mini tour in the southwest of England. And I couldn't believe how similar the folk music was back there. And even the Cornish people, they're Celtic. And they have their own language. It took them a while, but they got to know us. So all around the world, the Cornish people in particular, back in the 1800s, were expert miners. And they plied their trade all around the world. And as the Irish are known as paddies all over the world, the Cornish folk are known as Cousin Jack. And this land is barren and broken, scarred like the face on the moon. Our tongue is no longer spoken, and the towns around face ruin. And will I find work in New Brunswick? And will I find gold on the Cape? If I tunnel my way to Australia, and how would I ever escape? And where there's a mine or a hole in the ground, that's where I'm headed for, that's where I'm bound. And look for me under the load or inside the vein, where the copper, the clay, and the arsenic and tin, it runs in your blood, gets under your skin. I'm leaving the county behind, I'm not coming back. And follow me down, Cousin Jack. Where the soil's too weak to make Eden, and the granite and sea left no choice. Visions of heaven sustained us, and John Wesley gave them the voice. And did Joseph come to St. Michael's Mount 2,000 years past in a dream? When you're working your way in the darkness, and it's deep in the heart of a sea. And where there's a mine or a hole in the ground, that's where I'm headed for, that's where I'm bound. And look for me under the load or inside the vein, where the copper, the clay, and the arsenic and tin, it runs in your blood, it's under your skin. I'm leaving the county behind, I'm not coming back. And follow me down, Cousin Jack. Canada and South Africa to Australia. Ooh. And where there's a mine or a hole in the ground, that's where I'm heading for, that's where I'm bound. And look for me under the load or inside the vein, where the copper, the clay and the arsenic and tin, it runs in your blood, gets under your skin. I'm leaving the county behind, I'm not coming back. Can't follow me down, cousin Jack, yeah. Cousin Jack, cousin Jack. That was Cousin Jack. Thanks very much. It was a great song, that written by a man called Steve Knightley and Phil Beer. And it was a funny story, actually. I think we were in St. Ives on the Cornish Peninsula. And Steve Knightley is from Devon. And one of the locals come up to him and said, you know, because they're staunchly patriotic of the Cornish region. And he came up to him and he said, you write that song? And Steve Knightley said, I did, yeah. And he says, where are you from? And he says, I'm from Devon. And he said, well, mind your own business. So that'll teach him. Now, I'm just battling with this thing to get into tune. As I said, my name is John Lynch. And this next song is called City Stars. And I wrote it one day because, as I said to you, I was an electrician for many years. And when the global pandemic happened, we all found ourselves wondering what to do. And one day I found myself walking around Dublin City. And I couldn't believe the change that Dublin City went through. There was young people on the streets, obviously suffering from addiction. And I felt so sorry for them. It wasn't the city I grew up in, the city I knew. And I thought to myself, those kids didn't wake up and decide, I'm going to be an addict. Something happened in their lives. But I wanted to write a song about Dublin that brought back great memories about my mother and my father and growing up in Dublin. But I couldn't get this image out of my head of the young people lying on the streets while everybody else is walking by and living more or less affluent lives compared to them. So this song came out, it's called City Stars. I hope you like it. And I don't recognize the city is not Dublin anymore. Hard to walk along the Liffey, and the kids don't play no more in the line doorways on the streets. No one to love and nothing to eat. Driving around in your fancy cars, they're lying under city stars. City stars. I remember walking into Dublin town with me ma. Everybody was so friendly, and they're asking how we are. And the bus drivers whistle loud a marching tune, and you'd feel safe and sound when you were walking around. And I don't recognize the city is not Dublin anymore. Hard to walk along the Liffey, and the kids don't play no more in the line of doorways on the streets. No one to and nothing to eat. You're driving around in your fancy cars, they're lying under city stairs, city stairs. Are you walking down the Thomas Street, past the markets there, and you can't help but notice hops are in the air, and the beer kegs that tumble into cellars underground, all the memories of a boy living in Dublin town. And I don't recognize this city is not Dublin anymore. Hard to walk along the Liffey, and the kids don't play no more in the line and doorways on the streets. No one to love and nothing to eat. You're driving around in your fancy cars, they're lying under city stairs, city stairs. Everybody seems to live in a world of their own. They don't care about the future, just glued into the phone. Forget the heroes of the rising and the men of 16. Condemn your history to the pan. You better learn American. And I don't recognize this city, it's not Dublin anymore. Hard to walk along the Liffey, and the kids don't play no more in the line and doorways on the streets. No one to love and nothing to eat. Driving around in your fancy cars, they're lying under city stairs, city stairs, your city stairs. Oh. Thanks very much. So that was City Stars, and you can find that on Spotify and wherever you're having yourself. But the next song, as I said, growing up in Dublin, one of my most favourite walks you can do in Dublin is walk down the south wall to Poolbeg Lighthouse. And the reason I like that is because the lighthouse was built 200 years ago. I think it's reportedly one of the first lighthouses in the world. And I love when you walk out there because you turn around and you're halfway out to sea and you see the city behind you. It's like you leave all your troubles over there. But the noticeable thing you see on the landscape is the red and white towers from the ESB power station, and they're standing tall over Dublin Port. And as I said, I worked many years away as an electrician, and you're travelling to and from Dublin Port, you see these two big red and white towers, and they always reminded me of bouncers when you're trying to get into a nightclub or something like that, and they're watching who's coming and going in Dublin. So I nicknamed them the Guardians. This song came out, it's called The Guardians. Hope you like it. We walked the south wall hand in hand, those two towers of red and white they stand. They're watching over us, they stand the ground like guardians over Dublin town, Dublin town. Dublin town. In 1970, they raised the towers, the ESB. You see them standing both north and south across the bay to Sandy Mount, Sandy Mount, Sandy Mount. The mighty ship it rolls by me, sailing far across the sea. These stacks that made electricity now standing guard over you and me, you and me, you and me. From Shelly Banks to see the old oil tanks, they're empty now and filled with hollow sound. Footsteps of those who lived before me, they walk the South Wall legacy, legacy, legacy. And the pool bag lights and they guided the souls of the men who brought the fuel, turf and coal, to power the engines that light the night. They're quiet now, they're sleeping giants, sleeping giants, sleeping giants. And all I can see from my place in this world, the child in me sees the hope that I should cling to. These towers were built in the place I was born in, and our mas and dads lived their life under the gaze of guardians, 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 guardians. Across the sea, the stacks that made electricity, standing guard over you and me, you and me. And all I can see from my place in this world is the child in me sees the hope that I should cling to. These towers were built in the place I was born in, and our mas and dads lived their life under the gaze of guardians, 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 guardians. We walk the South Wall hand in hand, those two towers of red and white stand. Thanks very much. That was The Guardians. And that's on an EP that we released in August this year. It's called 1922. We're going to finish up with the last song now. And the next song actually came together through gigs. So kind of started to write it during sound checks. And as we're getting everything ready, we used to play it. And it kind of came together itself. I wanted to make a song which kind of held a bit of a mantra for people to believe in themselves. And it kind of came out of the Ukraine war, when I saw what was happening over there. And as I said before, when the song comes out, it comes out. You can't sit down and just deliberately write it. You channel the song. And I just wanted to send a message to those people and to anybody else who's going through turmoil or whatever he might be going through, that it will end. And I wanted to have a song that people could just hum it to themselves. It's called Believe. It's going to be released in October, late October. And hope you like it. And the sun's policed the sky, and as I walk alone I wonder why. Who drew the battle lines of what is right, what is wrong today, my love? And you surrounded my thoughts, and you terrorize my sense of self. And who am I? And I'm lost in time, and this time is not my own. And believe in you. And believe in you. People turning away from the things that they learned back in the day. Our children's minds, they're led astray, and the far away, and they won't be back again. And believe in you. And believe in you. Under lotus soup and the missiles and guns and the staring down barrels of rifles fill the soldiers with lives, and the bullets fill the skies, and the women and children take refuge. Blood and history repeats, and we bomb up your streets, and the leaders count out the plunder. Whoa. And believe in you. And believe in you. And believe in you. And believe in you. Oh, in you. Thank you. Good night.
Wow, John Lynch and Larry, both very talented guys, lovely storytelling, fantastic, just incredible. Voices mix so well together. I really enjoyed that performance, and I most definitely enjoyed the performance of Believe. What a gorgeous song with gorgeous vocals and lyrics. So you're very, very welcome, John. to the Irish Art Show.
Thanks very much, Angel. Yeah.
Thanks so much for
Great
coming
to be
along.
here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Fantastic sound, the two of you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. We worked hard on that sound.
Incredible. How did you and Larry come to get together, actually?
So pre-COVID times, I was messing around. You know, we had nothing to do. Everybody was kind of taken to streaming and trying to find new technology. And I found Larry was doing this online recording, so he had the technology available. And we just struck up a bit of a conversation, and then we made the album City Stars, and that was done using remote technologies.
It's incredible what can be done nowadays, isn't it?
Fantastic.
And I see that by your intro that you were actually, you obviously were doing this as a child. When did you start?
I never remember picking up a guitar. I just always did.
Yeah.
You know, so you know the man Dad would go to visit uncles and aunties, and then they'd be sing songs, and that's where you learned all the songs. And cousins were playing, uncles were playing, and just pure osmosis, I picked it up. You know.
So you came from a musical family.
Yeah,
Were they professional, or was it
no,
just
no? Although my dad was kind of
Thought he was.
he'd be well known, like especially in Corfu, when he used to go on holidays, he'd be like the Lord Mayor of Corfu, you know. So he's one of those characters, real Dublin character, you know.
You definitely have that in you as well.
I'd like to think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How has it been? Because I was listening to you saying about, you know, you were an electrician.
Yeah.
So you obviously then you abandoned, if you know what I mean, abandoned
Yeah.
your musical dream maybe, and you became obviously an electrician. And then how did that turn around for you?
So like a lot of people, you know, I would have been following the musical path all through secondary school. And then after secondary school, when I became an apprentice electrician, I would have went to all the open mics, and we done various collaborations with people, you know. And then life takes over. You have to get serious, and we had to get mortgages, and then we had children very young. All our kids are grown up now, and we've had 3 grandchildren, and so everything happened early for us. So I found myself then, as we hit COVID, the hard stop that happened, I decided to go back.
And when did you first write your first song?
I would have been maybe teenager, maybe 13, 14 years of age, when I actually wrote down the song. And
Would you play it now?
I probably could, yeah. I probably could, but it's one of those things. I could never sit down and deliberately write a song. It has to be connected to an emotion. So it's usually something that's happening or current, and the song will emerge.
Yeah.
That's normally what happens with me.
Where does your inspiration come from?
From everything. So normally, lately, like 1922, the EP that came out this year, like 1922 is when the foundation of the Irish state happened. So I kind of looked at 100 years since Ireland was developed as a nation, and how far or how not so far we've come as a society. And I just addressed that in some of the songs.
And you became a full-time musician in 2020, is that right?
Yeah, so that's after the COVID.
Oh,
then,
yeah, so but there was a block there, you said.
Yeah, so a bit of a, when you just turn up and you say, I'm here, no one wants to know. So it was really difficult, especially in current climate. Like, you go to a venue, you're trying to sell seats, there's a commercial element, as you know, and you have to justify that. And it's really hard to justify that unless you have high metrics on your social media, for instance. And you can't get high metrics unless you're in front of people, and you can't get in front of people unless you have high metrics. So that's really the block. So I'm literally scraping my way up that slope at the moment, you know.
Did you find it hard to get back into the business?
Yeah, I underestimated it. It's particularly hard.
You thought you could actually just walk straight back in?
And I thought I have a strong commercial background in business, and it's a different show.
Why do you think that was?
Well, I mean, it's very, there's not a lot of support for musicians, let's say, and you know, at the risk of sounding facetious, I don't think artistry is appreciated as much as it should be.
It isn't. You're right.
And like, I mean, we've done gigs, and everybody's being paid except the artist. So you'll find crew are paid, sound people are paid. The artist isn't. You know, they're there to get exposure.
Yeah.
But people die of exposure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's really, I underestimated that.
So, you know, I see. What would you give, like, because you've had that block? Okay. What advice would you give to up-and-coming musicians then?
So what I've done is I reached out to the network, and that's maybe the old-fashioned. I'm of a certain age, like in late 40s. So I mean, you know how to network with people, you know how to engage, how to have a conversation. You can actually pick up the phone and talk to somebody, whereas maybe the young people these days, especially what's after happening with the digital revolution, they don't seem to have that human connection anymore, so it's really difficult. But my network certainly got me through to where I am now.
So that's just talking to people who are in the
Talking with
business who
people.
you knew.
Exactly, yeah.
Contacts.
And if I didn't know them, I
Yeah,
made
you
my
made
way
sure
to
you
know
did.
them. Yeah.
Exactly. And I see actually your debut album came out in 2023. Oh, sorry, 2022.
Yeah.
Called City Stars. How did
Yeah.
that come about?
So City Stars, as I said, I just collected all these songs. I started to write, quite a lot of songs came out. And then, as I said, I met Larry. And Larry's a producer in Dublin Studio Hub there. So he's very good at, telling the truth and saying that's not going to work. And we kind of manipulated some songs. And I started to like that process. It was a much more comfortable process than me arriving with ready-made songs and into a large studio, being anonymous type of thing. So we kind of curated a bit of an alliance there, and I really enjoyed that process. So City Stars was a narrative about Dublin City and coming into the new Dublin as I could see it. Like for many years when you're working, you don't get to go into town and see what town looks like anymore, and all of a sudden it's a different city.
I think definitely recording with somebody you get on with and connect with
Yeah,
brings a better sound,
big time, yeah.
no doubt about it. And who inspires you actually? Who inspires you in music?
Oh wow, well, look, I mean, Christy Moore would be the biggest one ever since I was a young fella. I just looked at Christy Moore and said,
I want to be him.
that's the man, And of course, there are Paul Brady, and then we have Keela, and you have all bands like that. And I love them. Dubliners, of course, Luke Kelly, Ronnie Drew. I love them, and I just love the historical aspect of the folk music, especially.
And who inspires you in life?
In life, well, my father would have been the biggest inspiration I had. We lost him during COVID. And
What was his name?
John as well.
Oh, John as well.
Yeah. So he was known as Big John, and I was Little John.
I have the same situation. My dad is John and my brother is John.
Great.
So my mother used to call my brother John John.
All right, you'll tell him everything twice.
That's and so tell us about your connection with the Irish musician Niall McEnemy.
Oh, so Niall's a great guy. When we were launching City Stars in the Sugar Club.
I love the name of the City Stars.
Thanks,
That's,
yeah.
like even to think about that, the City Stars
Yeah.
over Dublin, obviously fantastic.
Thanks. But I mean, that's supposed to represent everybody's under the same stars.
But even the lyrics in it is just unbelievable.
Thanks. But
Kind of paints a slightly dark Dublin, but I do
Yeah.
think it's got like that for sure.
exactly, and that was the intention of
Yeah.
City Stars, was to expose there's a whole new world. But Niall liked the music, and Niall reached out to me when I announced the show in the Sugar Club, and he asked could he support, and he came over. It was a fantastic night. He's a very talented individual. He's an actor as well, so he's brilliant. It's great crack we had that night.
Do you like collaborating?
I do, yeah. Collaborating with the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
I like a collaboration that happens organically rather than an arranged collaboration. So if it just happens, it happens.
And again, having a connection with the person before you collab. You know?
Big time, yeah. That really helps. Yeah.
And I see you released a single in April this year, and actually I loved that song. It's
Yeah.
it's called The Guardians.
Thanks.
Tell us about the inspiration for The Guardians.
So The
I know you did
Guardians,
say
yeah.
a little bit on the
Yeah.
the show
So
there,
I mean, that comes from, when I'd spent a lot of time traveling for work, and as I kind of got high up in the ranks a little bit in business, and I became more and more away from home, and I used to love getting on the airplane, and you put the phone on airplane mode, and no one can get you. So there's no emails, there's no text, there's nothing. So you had that hour or hour and a half, wherever you're on the plane for. And I remember flying out. That's the feeling where it's safe. Nothing's going to catch you there. But you get the very same when you walk out the South Wall, and you're at the lighthouse, and you turn around, the city is there. It's like you're on airplane mode. So you could take an hour out of your day, and it's just for you, just to relax. And it's one of the most meditative things I could do during that period of time. And when I look back, I saw the towers, and they were a constant reminder of coming backwards and forwards in Dublin Port. And they just look like guardians, bouncers.
There is kind of a comfort, isn't there? Because I think they were thinking about at some point blowing them up. Did you hear
That's
that?
right, yeah.
And we were all thinking, what? You can't,
Yeah.
even if they're not used, they're just iconic
Exactly.
to our city.
And they've become ubiquitous with the Dublin brand. So it doesn't make sense. Although they're an industrial, it's ugly architecture, but there's just so many people have fond memories of looking up as their children. They see the tower, so it's been a constant in their lives, you know, the good times and bad times. So that's where the inspiration for that song came.
And do you actually have a favourite song that you've written?
At the moment, it's Believe.
Believe.
I
Yeah,
really
I love
like
that.
Yeah, thanks.
What, again, what inspiration for that?
So, as I said, I saw all these things happening on the news, and I saw wars, and I saw it was very, very unfair what goes on, you know. And then I see, you know, young people are more and more encased in their phones and in social media and entrapped, whereas it's an easier world. So I wanted just some sort of healing to come about it. Now, I'm a big fan of Damien Dempsey, and he is an advocate for singing to be healed. And there's an enormous amount of healing to be got from singing. And during the live shows, we get the audience to participate in that song.
I actually think you're right regarding that, because there's no doubt about it. You can feel the healing yourself as a vocalist in your own voice. Mentioning Keela there again, just tell us about that, because I know you've done a bit of work with Keela.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like as I said, I met Larry, and you know, you reached out to the network. So Larry would have been a member on and off in the band Keela, and I was a huge fan of Keela from the time I saw them in Grafton Street in the 80s when I was on the Mitch from school. I'd see them.
The Mitch from school.
And I just looked at these guys, these lunatics on Grafton Street, banging drums and playing Irish, what was kind of Irish music, but it was just more invigorating. And lo and behold, Colin O'Shnodick, one of the whistle players from Keela, he played on my album City Stars. And then I got to open for them 3 times since, and I got to meet them all. And it was just a dream come true. And 2 weeks ago, on the Culture Night there, a bit longer than actually, Culture Night in September, we opened the show for Keela, and it was fantastic.
I think I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, in the Tala Civic Theatre.
Yeah, amazing.
Brilliant. It was great, like, you know.
And how do you think going forward, because obviously you've evolved a lot in the last 3 years, how do you think you're going to evolve in the next few years? How would you like to move on?
Well, I want to keep going, and you know, I feel a message to be told through the old tradition of folk music, especially Irish folk music. So our tradition would have been an oral tradition, handing down stories, and I love the storytelling, and I have plenty of anecdotes and loads of old Dublin tales that feed into the song, and I want to keep that going because it's an educational thing as well. It reminds people of the history where they come from, rather than being a harmonised culture, more like a European culture than an Irish culture, if you know what I mean.
And have you any goals coming up? Anything in the future that you'd like to achieve?
Oh, well, I mean, the big one, you know, I'd love to keep playing gigs and hopefully get somewhere big someday, you know, maybe Vicar Street or something. That's really it.
I'd say it's there for you, no doubt about it.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're just unbelievable. You really are. You're a fantastic
Thank you
artist.
very much.
You gotta own
Appreciate
it, you
that,
know.
yeah.
And have you got a new single coming out?
So Believe is going to be released.
Oh, Believe. So that's the new
Yeah.
single. Excellent.
And I'm going to start recording an album maybe towards the end of the year and release that next year. There's a lot of songs being collected at the moment.
Well, it's been absolutely fantastic
Thank
having you
you.
on the show.
Likewise.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
But before you go, what about your social media? How can people contact you?
So it's the usual suspects. It's Lynch Music on Facebook, and it's john.lynchofficial on Instagram, and it's John Lynch on Spotify. And that's really it. I'm on
Yeah,
YouTube as well, Lynch Music on YouTube.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Stay with it.
Thanks,
You've
Angel.
got a lot of things going to happen for you in the future, for sure.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us tonight.
Lovely.
Okay, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody at home. We've had a wonderful time with John, Larry, and all the gang, the crew, and myself, Angel. We were delighted to broadcast to you here this evening. See you again very soon. Good night. Thank you. Bye.